always seem to be a little more accurate going underhanded.
Nobody needed a copy. Nobody asked me.
They're doubled on the bottom, Greg.
And the bottom one is.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I may be somewhere else.
You might be. John?
I mean, there's only 5 of them, so the other one's probably over here.
Maybe over.
Probably one of these.
Do I need to move?
One copy.
Morning, guys.
This is the first time, morning. This is the first time we've ever talked about,
I say,
or first time they've ever put names in front of us.
might be in.
Do I need to move? Greg, do I need to,
Renee put them in.
Greg, do I need to move over there?
There we go.
Okay.
There you go.
It's easier. Fine. Thank you.
No insurance. Insurance won't cover it. House, water, everything. Yeah, some guy mowing brush. I called the county commissioner yesterday.
Yeah, the paper ones don't go in as easy.
No.
I said that. Nothing happened.
Based on.
Thank you.
No.
Guy in the back row there next to Joey's.
I have it on there. Oh,
Yeah.
see, and he'd never done them before, and he never asked me.
Lincoln, yeah,
I
I was
didn't
too.
know he did that. That's right.
And then the
Usually I just print them if somebody calls
guy,
me.
the young fella is with him, isn't he?
The others are back by the table.
Yeah, yeah.
How am I doing this?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't need it.
unless they're all gone, whatever.
Those other two guys, I know Wasserberger, but I don't know the other guy. Oh, heck yes, because I haven't seen Barrett since he got old, got gray hair. Haven't seen him for forever. You know, when you get out of business, you kind of lose contact with the community.
Yeah, it's hard. He's nice, right? Yeah.
Good morning. It is 9 o'clock, so we're going to call a meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Wilkie,
Yes?
Soroska, Lucas,
Yes.
Covey, present, Mendenhall.
Present.
A current copy of the Open Meetings Act of Nebraska is posted on the wall at the back of the council chambers for your review if you'd like to see that. Next item here is to approve the minutes of the February 7th, 2024 meeting. Any additions or corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Your second?
Second.
Roll call?
Wilkie,
Yes?
Soroska,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Covey, yes, Mendenhall.
Yes.
Okay. The next item, we're actually going to change the order this morning. So the next item is going to be consider approval of security and pledge agreement with Nebraska Land Bank for the Devco Housing Project 2022, also referred to as Mulligan Meadows. So do either of you want to speak on that, Ty, or?
Ty Lucas here today on behalf of Nebraska Land Bank, 3510 Tyler Court, North Platte. On the Mulligan Meadows project to monetize that bond, we used a prototype example that we collaborated with Gary, and our bank opted to lead this effort after discussions with various others, but we had a total of 8 Chamber of Commerce banks that opt to participate. And we were practicing. We've heard other communities where the banking community has collaborated to try to come up with creative ways of helping monetize TIF bonds. So this was one of our, this was probably the second attempt at this, because this was done back when the Walmart distribution center was done as well, because of the size and complexity of that bond. So in today's world, there's a little, the bonds don't issue as quick as they used to, because I think the bondholder has to prove up a certain amount of expense utilized. That creates a conundrum, because if they're trying to borrow money against the bond before they have the bond, then the lenders are trying to figure out what you do for collateral. And so this is a pledge agreement that takes the developer's interest in the redevelopment agreement and allows them to pledge it as collateral. And so anytime that a lender is working with trying to monetize a TIF bond, I would guess that you would see a security agreement of this nature. But anyway, we're happy to answer any questions.
Just a point of clarification here. On the third page, under section 2, on the second line, it reads, and shall continue until a date on with the redevelopment. Is it, do you want which in there versus with, or is that how you mean that?
What, Greg, could you tell me
So
again?
on section 2 term down at the bottom there, second line, and shall continue until a date on with the development promissory note, should that be which?
I think that should be which. So yeah, I'd probably ask if we could strike that and alter it from with to which. We'll go get that corrected in the final version. Thank you.
I wish I could take credit for the fine, but at the end of the table to my left is the one who.
Good. We appreciate it. No, thank you. That's one of those that spell check doesn't catch.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, any questions for Ty from the group?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bacon, you want to talk to the group here about the difference between this and what we typically do? And
This is just an assignment of the TIF bonding contract so they can hold collateral. It's generally done on almost all projects where there's a bank borrowing. So I reviewed the document, would recommend that it be approved with such changes as are necessary. There's some blanks in the exhibits and so forth. So, yep.
okay, any questions for Mr. Bacon? Okay. Is there a motion?
Okay, I'll make motion that we approve the security and pledge agreement between the Community Development Authority of the City of North Platte and Nebraska Land Bank.
I second it.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call.
Wilkie?
Yes?
Soroska?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Cubby? Yes. Mendenhall?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ty. Okay. The next item is consider adoption of resolution 2024-03, recommending the city council approve the redevelopment plan, adopt cost benefit analysis and other matters relating to Midwest Land Development, LLC, redevelopment plan.
Mr. Chairman, I have a conflict of interest with this project and will abstain from the vote
Thank you.
and not be part of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Bacon.
Mike Bacon, Special Counsel to the Redevelopment Authority, 416 10th Street, Gothenburg. This redevelopment plan has been prepared by the redeveloper Midwest Land Development LLC with input from the chair, from Judy in the planning department, and others. It provides for the development of 200 plus acres, 220 plus acres in the city, and is trying to meet the need for workforce housing that is driven by sustainable beef. It provides for significant infrastructure, significant development of residential units, both owned and apartments for rent, and includes a park.
The current plan is for 54-unit apartments, 61 townhomes, and 330 single-family detached homes. It's going to be built in phases, starting from the north, going to the south, and the infrastructure, site acquisition, and those types of costs will exceed $46 million over time, so this is a pretty heavy lift. The TIF on this project is going to be limited to about $36 million, so TIF will not cover the cost of putting in all of the streets and utilities that will be owned by the city. So this is a large lift. The existing zoning will have to be changed. That's already underway by the Planning Commission and will be addressed by the City Council to square it with the comprehensive plan. Currently, there are three zones, and it'll have to be reduced to two, a PR3 and an I1. It will include commercial, industrial, and residential, plus parklands, plus a bunch of streets. The phasing would start in 5 phases over 6 years. They will put in infrastructure starting from the north as they develop. And at the end of the 3rd phase, before 4th phase, they're going to take Leota all the way to Newberry Access, which is, that portion is not in the plan to go all that way. It's not something that's going to be TIF'd, but it's a commitment that they will make in the redevelopment contract to extend that infrastructure out there. The cost-benefit analysis is attached as part of the redevelopment plan, and biggest piece of this is there's going to be an impact on the student population. Student population for roughly 600 new residential units will be significant. However, that student population is going to be phased in over 6 years as it is developed. And the employees that are going to be, at least in the first phase of the employment hire, don't tend to have one child per person. There are going to be a lot of single folks come in, so it's not going to be a big push. The cost-benefit analysis for sustainable beef indicated that there's something like 1,100 empty desks in your system. And Austin Hillis, who is the lead developer in this case, has formal support by the superintendent for this piece. So they don't expect to have to build any new buildings. So if you have questions that I can address, I'll be glad to do that. But Austin is here. I would say one thing. The area for the residential lies is extremely blighted, which allows them to get 20-year TIF as opposed to 15-year TIF. The commercial is limited to 15 years and the industrial is limited to 15 years in this plan. We have reviewed the gap analysis and it clearly shows that without TIF, this project will not go forward. This is a project that at the end of the day will increase valuation in the city by about $180 million, which is significant after all of the infrastructure is paid for and provided the needed the housing for the needed workforce. The workforce TIF limits the cost of housing to below $300,000 per owned unit, and below $250,000 for the rental units. So that's where it sits. Any questions that I can address?
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Austin, do you want to speak on behalf of the developer?
Austin Hillis, 3051 Ash Street, Ashland, Nebraska. Mr. Bacon did a great job recapping the project. In addition to some letters of supports, we did receive a letter from the fire and police chief also stating this will not have any sort of adverse effect on services for the community. Happy to answer any specific questions. Otherwise, as I stated, Mr. Bacon did a great job recapping the project and all the numbers included.
So when he's still up here, I might just expound a little bit on some of the complexities. The city-owned property in the purchase agreement that they are doing with the city, there's some requirements that's required from the developer off-site to complete that street. And so there's also a request from the city to have certain things in there, either their purchase agreement or their development plan that will ensure certain things to happen before the land that's currently owned by the city is developed or resold. And so there'll be some conditions placed in the final plan and in the agreement that will allow for review of the financial. Right now, there's a financial plan for capitalizing and working through it by phases. But in that purchase agreement, they have, before phase 4, they have to complete that street in a redevelopment plan. And so that is in lieu of a higher purchase price on the property. During this interim period, the way it'll be, basically to the developer, that land, they won't be able to do anything with that land until those conditions are satisfied. So in the plan, there is one building pad in there that will happen in phase 1 on city land, but the rest of that will come after these things are all satisfied along the way. And so I think the developer needs an agreement, approved agreement, and then they go and they'll finalize some more things along the way here. And I think it's the mayor's intent to have in that agreement so that the council has the final look at the financial plan or phasing document within our redevelopment plan, so that everyone's comfortable with all the plan and how this all fits together. So I think it's been laid out. We've talked with Austin and his team about that and kind of how that works. And so the document exactly, it might be as simple as a deed of trust on the real estate. It might be a pledge. And the way the property would be transferred is, there's, at best case scenario, there's going to be a cloud, so that the title of that real estate is not free to do anything they want with it as they transfer the work on the city real estate. So as we've worked through that deal, there's a plan, and I think it's going to be a little bit fluid as we go forward to try to get this. They might have to alter a few things along the way, and we'll deal with that as it comes. But for now, they put a tremendous amount of time and been responsive to a lot of questions that we've had for them. So appreciate that. So is there questions for Austin that we haven't answered?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So are there other things that any other questions for Mr. Bacon or anyone else on the project before we have a motion?
I don't believe so. Not here.
Okay. I need a motion.
Okay, so how do you want this to read?
I would just read off of our
Right here?
Agenda.
Consider the adoption of
Yeah.
resolution, okay. I'll make a motion, we consider adoption of resolution 2024-03, recommending city council approve the redevelopment plan, adopt cost benefit analysis, and other matters relating to Midwest Land Development LLC redevelopment plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. You can pick, they tied.
We did.
Any additional discussion? Okay, let's vote.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Cubby. Yes. Mendenhall.
Yes.
Okay, so this will be forwarded on to the city council and for action at the city council. I believe the city council meeting is next Tuesday,
Yep,
correct?
that's it.
And then, they'll look at the plan and add or take action as it is there, so. Any other business this morning? Okay, meeting's adjourned.
Simple enough.
When he said.
Like, did a lot of work to get here.
That's right.
Lighted area.